So we got a maple tree to cut down for a previous customer. We've been out here numerous times for work, and there's a dead maple that, you know, it's a potential it could fail and go on one of the structures. It's hard to say if it will or won't, so we're just gonna be proactive about it and get it down so we don't have to worry about it. I think I showed this to you guys before on one of the videos. You see that? Look at that. Sloped back cut. Pretty much, I mean, I don't even know what they're doing here with the face cut, but this is the type of stuff that's just crazy. Super unsafe. Don't do that. Always keep a flat back cut. You should never angle your back cut. There's no reason to do that. Anyway, we're gonna get ready and head over there and start climbing up this maple. And we'll use the T540. My 201 is down right now, unfortunately, or I'd be taking that up with me. So I'll gather up my gear here and we'll get up there. So there it is. Let's take a look from the side. So here it is. Vertical's right around there for the tree. It's about 20 degrees leaned out towards their building. The potential for it to fail from the ground, it's kind of hard to tell. So you really never know if the tree's going to break down in pieces from the top, or if it's just going to fail right from the ground and the root system just tip over, or just break in half. You know, it's potential too. So on this thing, it's just not worth it. You know, they just built this structure over here in the deck and all that. We're just going to cut it down before it does fall and gets hung up in these cedar trees. So we're going to take the T540 up there and start cutting it in pieces. Be really careful when you're climbing these dead maples or alders. They're brittle as it is, and now you're up there out on these little pieces. Don't go very far out on them. You know, cut these things in large pieces. So I'm going to take some pretty good sized tops up there and let them just fall right down in here. It's not worth it to me to go up there in these real thin branches where it's already dead, it's already brittle. You could break something out underneath you. It's not worth it. So all right, we're going to start heading up there and piecing it down. Remember, when you're evaluating your trees for when you're going to fall them from the ground or climb them, it's a really good idea to go around the base of the tree, look up, kind of see what the tree's doing. Like, is the weight out here? Is it over to the right more, over to the left? Try and figure that out, because if we had to hand fall this tree, try and spin it out or something, you know, you really want to know exactly what's going on with that thing. And the best way is to go behind the tree and look up. I can see that it's almost dead on that building there. That's where it wants to go. So also, a really good reason to walk around the tree prior to putting your spikes in it and going up is you might see something on the ground that isn't right. You might see in the back some of the dirt being raised or cracked on the ground, and that means the root plate's starting to lift and that tree could fail. So if it's a smaller diameter tree and you're going up there and you just didn't pay attention to what's at the base of the tree, and you see that the soil is lifting and cracking, there's new exposed dirt, well, you could go up that tree and it could just tip over on you. So, and you're, you know, way up there, 70-80 feet, and just your weight alone with a light wind could pull the whole tree out of the ground. So just be really cautious of that and pay attention, especially on the fir trees that are prone to get what's called root rot. It'll cause those roots to be spongy, and they don't hold in the ground. They just will break off. So your weight up there could literally fail the tree. So go around, look at it. If you have to, sound the tree with a hammer, like a rubber mallet. If you have to core the tree because you're really unsure, then just take a long bit, go down and get a thin long bit from the hardware store and your drill, drill in here, core it, see if there's a huge cavity in the interior. Usually sounding will work pretty good for that. So anyway, just inspect your tree before you go up it. All right, here we go. So guys, when you're climbing, always bring a second lanyard with you when you're climbing so that you can do this. Put that in your bridge. All right, double check everything's secure, your gate's closed, and then you can just use it to keep advancing up. So I have a real good spot to throw it through. Can't even get up there. So just in case I slip, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it through here. Give it a shake. There you go. Now at least I have something in case I slip while I'm trying to redo my steel lanyard. It's just a little bit of a safety precaution. I'm sure everybody has hugged a tree once or twice and hoped everything was going to work out when they reposition their main lanyard. It's just not a good idea. Don't do it. Make sure you got a second one. Always look down, verify your stuff is shut. These will get dirty. You get rock and mud in there, and you'll think this is closed, and it's like this, partially open. Okay, so be careful of that. Make sure it actually locks. Okay, now we can undo that one. Put that back down to our side. Okay, here we are. We got some pieces we can start taking down now. So I'm just gonna reach out and cut these off. There's nothing underneath me, just other trees and brush, so. Okay, now we can start heading up again, up the top here, and try to get to this. See, look at the movement I'm getting just by moving my lanyard back and forth in my body. So think about, I'm moving this huge tree. I shouldn't say it's huge, but it's a decent sized maple, look. Right? Imagine if it was only this size and it was 60, 70 feet tall. You're moving it all over the place. So that's why I tell you, inspect your tree before you go up it. Okay, we're gonna see what we can take here. We're gonna reposition. I'm not gonna take that big of a piece right now. So we'll go ahead and put our lanyard in here. Snug that up. And then we'll unclip our main one. Still holding on to the tree. I think that's a good practice to have. Don't just assume your other lanyard's clipped in properly or something like that and then just put all your weight into it. Now I'm just going to double my lanyard up so I have, you know, double the safety systems on me. You can put it through your middle D-ring. Some guys do that. I just find it's harder to advance, so I put them both into my side Ds. But as long as these are intact, you inspect them before you climb, you should never have a problem. Okay, so that one's probably going to hit that and get all twisted up. So we'll just get up here a little bit further. Reposition this one here. Okay, I'm not going to go much further than this, just because the tree is dead. And I don't know what kind of shape some of this stuff is in, so we're going to let this go. We're just going to cut this off. It could try to bounce back at me, so kind of got to think about how I'm going to move if it does that. Let's get this one out of the way here. So this one, if I were to cut it right now from the base, it's a really high likelihood it'll hit that and then try to flip back on me. So what I'm gonna do, let me get up a little bit higher, just take a smaller piece. This is good, that's not gonna get me. Okay, got hung up, so. So I'm not going any higher than this. I'm gonna cut this side off and let it just flop down in here. If it tries to come back, it's not very big, so it shouldn't get me. Put your saw away. Now we're just gonna start getting some weight out of it. So this one I'm kind of looking at the weight of it. I think I can get it, go over here up against that cedar and break off. But just make sure you're being careful of that, because if you put in a face cut or something up here, that cut it, and you don't have leverage up top to push like I normally do, and it starts to come back on you. Now you got to try and move around the tree as quick as you can to avoid it. So just evaluate it first, see where the weight is, and then kind of go from there. I think we can get it. I think we can get it to come over here. There it goes. So did you guys see that? As that came off, it got hung up, right? It was sitting on here like this. Had it slid off backwards, it could get you in the chest. So that's why, if you're unsure of how that thing's gonna act when you cut it, don't take a big top. You know, if you take something like straight across here, you take that whole top of that cedar, it gets caught up in another tree and it's at an angle, it could shoot right off that back cut into your chest and lanyard, and there's no way you're coming out of that. It'll just either crush you right away, or it's going to suffocate you, or who knows, it's going to be bad. You're going to die. So if you're taking a top where there's something else around it that it could get caught up into, don't cut that thing very big. Cut it like that, where it's small and you can grab it and shove it off. So had that been a big top, that would have been a dangerous situation, where I would have had to probably try and climb down, hoping that it doesn't slide off that cut while I'm moving and get me. So just think about that, you guys. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start chunking it down. So instead of climbing down to that union, coming over into this one, I just use my second lanyard to kind of transition over into this tree and start working. Save me a little bit of time. So This whole section, we're gonna just cut it right down into here. We're not gonna go up any higher than that. There's no reason to, it's just more risk. So this thing's dead, the wood is brittle, it's just junk. It's not gonna hold. So normally with a live tree, you could take a top like this that's leaning towards that cedar and spin it all the way out over here to the left by keeping a bunch of holding wood right here on this side. Cut everything off on this other side, right? Because you want it to hold it here and swing it around. But this thing ain't gonna hold on. You'll see, probably just break right off because the wood is brittle and so dry. See, look at that, just breaks into a million pieces. No slivers being pulled, it's just junk. This wood is. Did you see that saw get caught at the last second there? Rip that thing out as quick as you can out of that cut. If the tree grabs it, and it happens from time to time, it will drag your saw right out of your hands, if not you, pull you down the tree. So if it's getting caught up, rip that thing out. Okay, we're gonna get up in this section now, cut it down. Because I don't trust this tree, I got my lanyard back over here on the other stem. If you fall and trip, you're gonna swing around underneath the tree. It'd be super difficult to try and get back to that union, so. So that's it, we're not going any higher. We're just gonna cut this right off and let it go. So I'm lanyarded into this piece we just cut. Had I not had this other lanyard going back to that tree behind me, just the weight of the top coming out and shifting this whole stem to the side could actually, you know, knock you off balance and you could slip and go around the tree. So if you can get a higher tie-in behind you, do that. It's way safer than just going up with one single lanyard. So we're gonna head on down. There we go. Now we're back on the vertical section here. That's about it. We're gonna get the 261 back up here and start cutting. This is the reason for having this small diameter cord with you. Man, it makes such a difference. You can use it as a safety line to rappel if something goes wrong with just a Rescue 8. Or you can use it like this, just haul your equipment back and forth. Just have someone on the ground clip your stuff in and that, you know, things that you need, and just makes your life easier. Well, now I gotta fix my chain in the tree here. Unfortunately. Carry a scringe with you guys on a carabiner like this. Some 550 tight to the top. Put some electrical tape, something to keep that on you, because you're gonna have this type of stuff happen in the tree and you're gonna have to sit there and fix it. So we're about back going here. About got it fixed. Just snugging it up again here. Pretty much got it fixed and tightened back up. So we'll check the chain tension once we get it running again. Make sure it's not going to do that again. That happened because when I flipped my bar to try and break that piece out, it deflected the chain off the side of the rails like this, just enough that it flipped it off the bar. Most of the time you'll get away with it without it doing that, but not this time. wood, you guys, just junk. Pulling no slivers, just breaking right off, no flexibility. So that's why these maples, alders, or any dead tree really, you do not want to try and cut those and wedge them when there's structures nearby. It's just really risky to do. Or try and put in, you know, scissor wheels and stuff like that, because it just doesn't work. The tree can only do so much. That wood is all brittle and dry in there, and it'll just break right off. You got smaller bars, cut in like this on the base cut instead of flat like this. Up around the side at an angle, so you reach all the way around. For you guys that are learning, you're still not proficient at making your flat cuts like this, and swinging up under, doing Humboldts, or swinging over the top with conventional, just make your angle cut first. It works really well. It's only when you're making really tight shots, I think that you really need to do the flat cut first and then swing up under, because this is how you're aiming. Right, so that flat cut allows you to dial it in perfectly where you want it to be. But you got a nice big open area here. Like these cedars are pretty much like goalposts. I need to put it in between. I got lots of room. I'm just gonna make a angle cut first, just to show you. We're gonna do a Humboldt so we don't have to pound it out. It'll just slide out. So what you do, you just saw is that angle, maybe 40 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever you want to do for your base cut. And there's different degrees for what you're trying to do, and we're not going to get into that today. Just get a 30 degree, 40 degree angle on it, okay? Tilt it, look down your gunning sight where you want it to go. And when you're satisfied with where those are pointing, checking the angle of their saw, because when it's buried like this, you can't see very well. You don't know if it's slightly tilted like this. Before you saw it out, so it's level like that. Now come in and just eyeball where that stops and make a flat cut. Don't overshoot where dialed into the middle there, right? So I'm gonna keep cutting. I'm gonna rotate the saw around until I'm dialed in where I want to be, where that base, that initial angle was cut. Now I'm right on. If you keep cutting in and you're not paying attention, you can end up cutting over here. Now your flat cut is dialed in